Hello, everybody. This is Fahim Jackson, and it's episode 65 of my podcast show, In the Know. This is a short form podcast show which is aimed at putting people in the know with a variety of topics, using my experiences and viewpoints in life to put people in that know. Now, you may want to ask, what is the know? It's using my understanding of the experiences to guide you through the world. The following is an intro speech into the topic of today, and that introduction speech is regarding why we need courses taught in school that students actually need to succeed in life. As a high school student, I always wanted to know what I was learning that could contribute to my life. And once you get out of school, you do look back and start to think about your reason for being there in the first place. Why do you have to learn all this information and then toss it out the window when finishing your high school diploma or even collegiate years sometimes? So you look back and say to yourself, why don't we learn things in school that we are going to step out into society and use? Let's observe the courses that we could be and should be taking when in school so we can step out into the world and use what we spent all this time doing, usually from 7 in the morning to 3 p.m., 5 days out of the week. Schools should teach curriculum that students actually need in life. Core curriculum. Let's look at some core curriculum. Mathematics. This is a subject that will be presented to you in school that so many young people dread, and there are others that love it because you can't BS your way through this subject. You have to either know the answer or you don't. Some students like to fill space with other courses, but here, 1 plus 1 will always equal 2. Early on in school, you learn arithmetic and number theory. What are these courses? The first being arithmetic, which is the simple 2 plus 4 equals 6. It's the addition, also subtraction, division, and multiplication. Now, with the number theory, you learn about the odd and even numbers. You also learn about prime numbers, composite numbers, as well as the Fibonacci sequence. You say Fibonacci? Fibonacci may not sound familiar, but it is, for example, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. Meaning, you just take the current number plus the previous number to get the number preceding. More advanced math comes later on, such as algebra, geometry, followed by trigonometry. Then you could take calculus courses. Science. Here is the study of the natural world and the behaviors of our natural world to make sense of them. We have building blocks that make up science because science is quite a few backgrounds, such as physics, chemistry, astronomy, zoology, biochemistry, botany, earth science, and microbiology. Now, growing up, you're only going to learn a few of these until you get to college and take on more difficult science courses. Well, what are those science classes? Between elementary school and college, you will see chemistry, earth science, zoology, and chemistry. Courses like biochemistry, astronomy, and microbiology are more advanced until you get to college. And physics will be the most difficult of these courses, which is still in college. A class like botany is more specialized, and you're not going to take this class unless you truly want to do so. The science you absolutely need for success in life will not be taught because the schools lack the funding a lot of times until you get to college. Social studies. In school, when you learn this course, it's a very important, unimportant course. What do I mean by this? It means that this is yet another one of those courses with a wide range of subjects underneath it. The components of this course are history, geography, economics, and civics. We learn less about civic and governing aspects of courses. But the history, economics, and geography are courses that we take all throughout our academic years. Now, even though this is the social aspect of society, we learn very little about the human element of people. It is very straightforward and does not go into much detail. Unless you're involved in clubs such as Model UN, then you're not really getting much from this course. Language arts. This area of study is using our language as a means of making improvements. With this, we learn the basics of the English language. But if you want to observe something a little more advanced, you can try your hand at literature. This is a course that should serve as more of an elective class rather than a mandatory course. Now, the new core courses. What could be one of those new courses? Money management. As a young man, I wish I knew more about money that I didn't know in high school or even college. And yes, a lot of people like to think that it's the parents' job, but there are curriculums that can be incorporated into the classroom. For example, if you have a part-time job in high school, then we have elective courses that are put into school that show how to manage money. It shows you how to perform breakdowns for bills, utilities, paying rent, and your mortgage. Most students will at some point have an apartment once they graduate high school. It will prepare them for once they enter life, these money management courses. The prioritizing is necessary as something that you can carry and pass along even to your children. It will also show how you can be a better significant other. In a relationship, you need to understand money in order to coexist. Real estate. This is an area that is very lucrative and something I really don't know much about myself. I think I would be more involved to a degree, or even more understanding about my own living arrangements. Because this is a lucrative business as well that a lot of people would get involved in once they learn how it could uplift them financially. So we could use these courses in school. The stock market. I just got involved in the stock market myself for the first time at the age of 32 years old. I wish I would have tried my hand at this earlier because the stocks I like would have chosen earlier on and are very valuable now. In school, high school and college that is, we students need to be able to experiment while working on diplomas and degrees. And it's odd considering we have economics and finance courses at both levels, but we never really get too in-depth into teaching young students about the market. And you can invest once you turn 18 years old. So seniors with part-time jobs should be taught the market and invest early. Invest for buying a house, saving for retirement, or even money that you want to spend on yourself personally over time. STEM. This is a very important aspect of education in today's society. It not only should be incorporated into the academic curriculum, but a necessity. Our country, our world, has been so technologically pushed that we are going to need this for our generation to grow. And since I haven't already said, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The rest of the world is moving in a direction to try to build their countries up. So when you know STEM is pushing the conversation forward, then America has to be willing to be in the conversation. And if we want to push the conversation, then teaching the generations younger is the way to go about doing it. Otherwise, the world would be the voice, and we will have no choice but to acquiesce to the new way. It puts 320 million Americans at a very strong disadvantage. Politics. When we look into the current landscape, our young people, especially those in position to graduate high school, they need to know. They need to understand that they are voting again and watching this current presidential election. It lets you know how important a vote really matters. And it should matter because you are possibly going to turn the tides of an election. It's the reason why, depending on the city and state, there are a lot of college students in the region. Know that whoever you're voting for, their platform will affect you in life. So we need more political education in schools. Laws. This is something quite interesting because we assume most legal restrictions we already know. But if you want to take it a step further, what about the things we don't know and understand about the law? This would also get some students interested in pursuing a career, hopefully. Building relationships. We all, to some degree, make friends in school, but do you properly know how to build connections that last much longer? And a course that is built on networking is very important, especially when students leave high schools, possibly going to various parts of the state or even the country. See, there's a difference between making friends in school and networking. You would think they are one of the same, but they are not. Just think, how many of your friends do you really keep in contact with after graduation? But networks you keep throughout your life because they can elevate you and other people in life in the process. Mental health. In school, there are counselors, but what about going a step further and teaching the upsides of a quality mental health state? I myself have had problems over the years with depression and anxiety. It has kept me from progressing forward, and I have been trying my best to keep it moving, but this is something you don't hear too much about in school. Now, recently in schools, especially due to the pandemic, you may have more than ever talking about mental health, but prior to the pandemic, they really didn't exist. You have school counselors, but not too much after that. Personal fitness. In school, we have gym class, but we don't ask too many students to do much. Some schools, all you have to do is walk around a track or some slight jogging. Yet when you have so many children who are overweight in today's society, it becomes problematic. We even have the military having a hard time recruiting because so many young people are not active anymore. And with the increase in heart attacks, diabetes, stroke among young people, we need to go further than gym class. Let's focus on strength training as well as eating a good, nutritious meal. Now, with this end statement, while we all should teach students that they need to know in school to survive in life, going to school all my life, I always wished that my educational background went many steps further growing up in school. Now, maybe the government doesn't see it as much of a necessity. Their job is to give kids the basics and let them figure out the rest in life. They also see many of the things that I discussed as the parent's job. But with inputting more of these needs in school will increase the value of the education. We can't be this one-trick pony of the same teaching styles and methods. If we want to compete with the rest of the world, then we're going to have to increase our abilities and our system. So make the move now for the future. So, thanks for listening to In the Know, and can't wait till our next episode where we talk about the kid that is lacking education, motivation, and what do you do about that to increase their motivation in school.